Bree Ogletree here. I'm here with an exciting announcement that I've been waiting to share with you. I am opening up a brand new group training program in January of 2023, and I am currently opening up 10 pre-sale spots at a 50% discount from the enrollment price. In exchange for your feedback over the coming weeks about the course, I am offering a 50% discount only to 10 people, and the deadline to sign up is going to be December 2nd at midnight. Now, what is the fitness program? The fitness program is called Lifting Confidence, and it's going to teach beginner to intermediate lifters how to up-level their lifting game in order to achieve and maintain their physique and strength goals long-term. During this 8-week program, you're going to get the workout guidance and the nutrition guidance and the coaching guidance that you need to finally achieve and maintain your fitness goals in 2023. It's going to be a step-by-step system that's going to teach you how to lift, what types of exercises to include in your programs, how to eat to fuel your training. Basically, it's everything that you're going to need to know to get the results that you want to see in the gym and maintain those results. So if you are looking to get serious about your training in 2023 and you're looking for a coach to help you do it, this program is definitely for you. Again, I have 10 spots available at 50% off the enrollment price, and these spots are only available until December 2nd or until all spots are filled. So be sure to sign up as soon as you can so that you can take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime offer. I am not offering this price again for this program, and so we can train together in 2023. You can sign up for your pre-sale spot right below where you're watching this video or in the show notes where you're listening to this audio. Let's make 2023 all about building the strongest version of you. So this week we're taking it back to the lifting basics and talking about the 5 fundamental movements that every lifter should have in their lifting program. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Bree Ogletree. I am an online fitness trainer teaching people how to make fitness work for their unique lifestyle so that they can achieve and maintain their fitness goals long term. I am not in my normal recording spot, as you can see. I am actually taking some time off from my full-time job with the military, and I am traveling right now for the holidays for a little bit. So I am currently at my friend's house. And I actually pre-recorded this video hoping to not record this week so that I could enjoy my time off. But when I went to go edit the video today, I realized that the audio was completely messed up and unusable. So here we are. It doesn't matter if you are a beginner or an advanced lifter, these 5 different types of movements should be included in your training program. It also doesn't matter what type of athlete you are. I strongly believe that these movements, regardless of what you're doing for your sport or for competition or for recreation, whatever you're doing, in your lifting routine, these should be movements that you are incorporating on a regular basis. Now, before we get into the movements, I think it's important that I tell you what my lifting philosophy is as a coach. There's plenty of different philosophies out there, and I honestly don't think there's a wrong or right answer, but this is how I approach my training. This is how I approach training with clients, and what I believe is the best approach, the best well-rounded approach to make you or to make my clients really good movers, and what I think works best to make you a stronger lifter and a better mover in everyday life. The way I approach training is from a movement first approach. Whenever I evaluate a training program or a style of training, I'm always looking for the application from what you're doing in that workout or that training program and how that applies to what you're doing in your everyday life, in the real world. Are the movements that you're doing in your workouts, are those exercises applicable to how you're moving in everyday life? I strongly believe that what you're doing for your workouts and the exercises that you're doing should translate to either your everyday life and help you move better throughout, regular activities of living, walking, climbing stairs, picking up things, putting things down, putting things on shelves, grabbing things on shelves, things like that. And if you're an athlete, those movements should also correlate to what you're doing for your sport. Now, because I primarily work with general population people, so everyday people just, working, living life, they have families, maybe not necessarily athletes, they may have been when they were younger, but just people living their everyday lives. I like to approach training from a well-rounded approach. So doing basic movements that I know that they're doing throughout their daily life. So when I'm programming a lifting program for a client, I'm thinking about those types of movements. And in the lifting world, a lot of what's called compound lifts are applicable to things that we do in our everyday lives. And that's what we're going to get into today. Those 5 fundamental movements that most humans are doing in their everyday lives that they should be incorporating in their lifting in order to enhance how they move out in the real world or in their sport. So when you come from a movement first approach when it comes to training, you're prioritizing compound lifts. So compound lifts are working multiple muscle groups at once, and it's taking into account the fact that your muscular skeletal system works as a system. So there's rarely an occasion in the real world where you are working one muscle group at a time, right? Usually your muscles work together, they work against each other. If one muscle group is moving, that could mean that another muscle group is stabilizing. It could mean there are synergistic and antagonistic relationships between muscle groups. But basically, your muscle system, your muscular skeletal system works as a system, and we want to train it as such so that we can move in the most efficient way. When we train this way, this is how we become our strongest selves. So after, prioritizing those compound lifts and those exercises that are going to work multiple muscle groups together, then those isolation type movements come secondary. Again, there aren't a lot of instances in the real world or in sport, regardless of what sport it is, where you're working just one muscle group at a time. Training in a way that is going to mimic how you move in the real world is really what's going to help you become your strongest and become the best mover. My goal as a coach is to help you become as resilient and as strong as you can in movement so that you live a long, healthy life, but then you also feel great in your body as you move as well. And I think that a movement first approach is a great way to work towards that. Now, if you are new to lifting or programming for lifting workouts, I have a great free resource called Train Like a Pro. It's a cheat sheet, it's 1 page long, and it's going to walk you step by step through how to create more effective programs so that you can achieve and maintain your fitness goals long term. This 1 page cheat sheet does take into account your lifestyle. So if you have 1 day a week to train, you have 1 day a week to train. It's going to ask you all those questions and help you map out a program that's going to work for your individual lifestyle so that you can be most successful in your fitness journey. A lot of programs on the market just hope that you will mold to whatever the schedule of that program is, and I really work hard to find solutions for you that are going to work for your unique lifestyle, and everybody's a little bit different. So this free cheat sheet is a great place to start to help you map out your workouts, help you map out what a training week would look like for you based on your individual schedule. So if you haven't grabbed it already, definitely grab the cheat sheet. Again, it's only 1 page. It might take you 20 to 30 minutes to fill out, but you can grab that cheat sheet at podcast.brieogletree.com/pro. And again, it's free. Make sure you grab that today to start mapping out some great workouts for you. Okay, now that you know my training philosophy, we're going to get into the 5 key movements that every lifter should have in their program. Movement number 1 is going to be squats or knee dominant variation exercises. Squats are a great exercise for most of the musculature in your legs, in your core, and in your lower back. They really are a total body exercise with an emphasis on your glutes, your quads, and your hamstrings, depending on the variation of the squat or knee dominant exercise that you're doing. A great application to a squat is sitting down into a chair and standing back up. If you have a child, it could be sitting down on a chair with your child or standing back up. And there are what's called bilateral and unilateral variations of a squat. So a bilateral variation would be both feet involved. So you're doing both feet are in contact with the ground at all times. You are squatting down and then coming back up. And a unilateral version would be something like a split squat or like a reverse lunge, where one side is working at a time. If you are a beginner lifter, I definitely recommend something like a goblet squat to start, and then something like a split squat for your unilateral variation. Then if you're an intermediate to advanced lifter, you could do something like a barbell back squat for your bilateral variation, or a reverse lunge for your unilateral variation. Movement number 2 is going to be hip hinge and hip dominant variations. These movements are primarily going to work your glutes, your hamstrings, probably some of your lower back. But again, it's a total body exercise. Using your core to stabilize the movement. There are a lot of muscle groups involved in the lower extremities as well as your torso. Just like with the squat, there's bilateral and unilateral versions of these exercises, and it's important to incorporate both. So if you're a beginner, for example, something like a kettlebell deadlift would be a good place to start for a bilateral movement. For a unilateral movement, something like a single leg glute bridge would be a great place to start. And if you are a intermediate to advanced lifter, you could do something like a conventional deadlift with the barbell for your bilateral. And then for your unilateral, you could do something like a single leg deadlift, either with a dumbbell or a kettlebell. A real world application of a hip hinge movement would be something like picking up a basket of clothes or your child off of the ground. You're going to engage those same muscle groups as you would in a deadlift. Movement number 3 is going to be your upper body push variation. So you do have your bilateral and your unilateral movements, but with upper body, you also have diagonal or angled movements as well. And again, it's important to incorporate all of these variations. Your upper body push exercises are going to work muscle groups like your pecs, your shoulders, your biceps, triceps, those smaller stabilizer muscles in your shoulders, as well as your core for stabilization. You can do these movements standing up, seated, in the kneeling position, prone. There's a lot of different variations when it comes to upper body push exercises. Some examples of an upper body push variation would be something like a bench press, a barbell bench press, or a dumbbell bench press if you're a beginner. You could do a dumbbell shoulder press or a barbell shoulder press. And then you could also do an angled variation, either a angled cable press or an angled landmine press. Again, there's lots of variations. You can get really creative when it comes to your workouts, even when you're just following the basics. All right, movement number 4 is going to be your upper body pull variations. Again, you have your bilateral, your unilateral, and your angled or diagonal variations of these exercises. Your upper body pull variation exercises are primarily going to work your lats, your rear delts, maybe some of your traps, pretty much the musculature of your upper and mid back. Examples of upper body pull would be a lat pull down, a pull up, a seated cable row. That would be like a horizontal variation. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. So with your upper body pull and push variation, you're going to have vertical, horizontal, and angled movements. Again, all variations are important. You want to make sure you're getting a mix of all of these types of variations in your workouts. Movement number 5 is going to be all of your core focused exercises. Now, there's a ton of different ways that you can move your core. There's flexion, there's extension, anti-extension, rotation, anti-rotation. So when you're training your core, you want to make sure that you're getting in as many of these different types of movements as possible in order to make the strongest and most resilient core possible. Your core is going to support you in pretty much all of these compound lifts. So making sure that you are training it in a way in which again, movement first in the way that it moves and helps stabilize you in different movement is really important for core training. Doing crunches is really not going to cut it when it comes to core training. You want to make sure you're incorporating a lot of these different movements. Well-rounded core training is going to help train not only the rectus abdominis, the muscles that you do see, like when you have a six-pack. It's going to train your obliques, it's going to train your transverse abdominis, it's going to train your pelvic floor muscles, and it's going to train your multifidus as well, which is those little tiny muscles in between your spinal column, your erector spinae as well. So some good examples of core exercises are going to be planks, side planks, cable rotations, Pallof press, farmer's carries, crunches, and there's tons more out there, but those are just some examples. All right, so that's going to be it. Those are the 5 movements that you definitely want to incorporate into your lifting program, into your training, in order to be the strongest, most well-rounded mover that you can be. All right, so that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and comment on this video. Let me know what you liked about the video. Let me know if you have questions about the different movements that I discussed today. And if you haven't already, be sure to grab the free resource, the Train Like a Pro cheat sheet, to help you start mapping out your workouts. And if you are interested in working with a coach in 2023, my pre-sale for my group training program opening on January 15th is now open for enrollment. You will get 50% off if you sign up by December 2nd, and I can help you become the strongest version of you in 2023. You'll learn everything you need to know about lifting and about nutrition to fuel your workouts and your body so that you can finally achieve and maintain your strength and physique goals long term. All right, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with me in this re-recording of the video. I hope it was helpful. I will talk to you next week. Have a good week. See you later. Bye.